quadratics.com, and we've been going through the quadratics unit in Khan Academy, and we're currently on the vertex form lesson. This is the second video for this lesson. There's a practice called graph quadratics in vertex form. Previously we did the warm-up, and so this is the main one. It's going to ask us to understand a little bit more. The questions are going to basically be the same. So let's get started. I said let's get started. So there we go. Okay. So you'll remember our vertex form looks like y equals a times x minus x1 squared plus y1. So we're going to look at this form and try to figure out what the vertex is. Vertex is at x1, y1. If a is positive, this is going to open up. And if a is negative, it's going to open down. And the vertex will be at x1, y1. My computer is struggling with video right now. So, putting together the last video. So let's see if we can find out where that vertex is. After we find the vertex, then we're going to try to find some of the zeros or the y intercept or something to help us graph it. So I can see I have x minus x1 here, and I have x minus 2 here. So I know that my vertex is at 2, and I have plus y1 over here, and I have plus 2 over here. So my vertex, the y coordinate is at 2. So there we are, x of 2 and y of 2. A is positive, so it's going to open up. And we only need one more point for this graph, so I think it's easier to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept is where x is equal to 0. So I'm going to say the y-intercept is equal to 2 times x is equal to 0. And I've got now I've got negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. 2 times 4 plus 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. So my y-intercept is 0, 10. So let's put that up, see if it lets me. Hey, it won't let me do that. All right, so that was the easy one, but we can't do that. So instead, we're going to find the x-intercepts, and so we're going to have to find the x-intercepts where y is equal to 0. Excuse me. So I'm going to set 0 equal to 2 times x minus 2 squared plus 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And I'm going to get negative 2 is equal to 2 times x minus 2 squared. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and I'm going to have negative 1 is equal to x minus 2 squared, and then I'm going to take square root of both sides. I'm going to take square root of both sides, and I'm in a pickle again, and I can't do that. Why? Because it opens up, and so there is 0. So we can't find x either. So we have another choice. We can find another easy one, and so I'm going to do x equals 1. So, but normally we'll try to find either the x-intercepts or the y-intercepts first. But you can see it doesn't always work. So we're going to set x equal to 1. 2 times 1 minus 2 squared plus 2. And so here I have negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 plus 2, and that is equal to 4. So the one point that I can find pretty easily is 4. X 1, 4 there. Okay. And before we were looking at our x-intercepts and seeing if we could figure out something that would work. Let's see. I have 2 here, and it doesn't work for my x-intercepts at all. So inductively, we were trying to see if there was a way that we could cheat, and always do that in math. And then don't think it's real. But I mean, use the scientific method for it. Get a hypothesis, go through, see if it works consistently. If it works consistently, then go ask your teacher about why it's true. Because learning about why it's true is the most important thing in math. All right, so there we go. Let's see. I'm going to check, make sure I'm talking a lot, make sure I didn't screw it up. So I have one point is 1, 4, and then my other point is here we go. 2, 2 is my vertex. 2, 2. All right, well, they look good. There we go. Okay, so again, we've got our vertex form. It's getting a little late here. So I want to find x minus x1. I want to know what x1 is, and I want to know what x2 are to find my vertex. So x minus x1, I have plus 1 here, so I know this is minus negative 1. So I know over here I've got a negative 1, and I got a plus y and minus 2, so I know my y value for my vertex is negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and find, there's my vertex. And a lot of times we've been dealing with vertexes that are up over here in the positive part, but they don't have to be. They can be anywhere. And are we opening up or down? We're opening up. Okay, we're opening up. That means we could find x-intercepts if we want. Okay, but I think it's going to be easier to find y-intercept. So I'm just going to set x equal to 0. And that is equal to 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So my y-intercept is 1 here. And we have a 3 value here, so it's really steep, really shaped this way. If we have a fraction here, something a little bit between 0 and 1, it'll be wide and curved. The higher this number goes, the steeper it is. All right, we got 2 more here. Okay. So again, I'll write down our vertex form. Y equals a times x minus x1 plus y1. So I want to know my vertex, x minus x1. Here I have 0. X minus 0 plus y1, 1. So I know that my vertex is at 0, 1. I also know my y intercept is there, because that's the y-intercept, and this opens up like this. So I also know I have no x-intercepts, so I'm going to have to choose a different point. And I'm going to choose where x equals 1. So we're going to try just replace x equals 1. So I have 3 times 1 squared plus 1 is equal to 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So my point is 1 comma 4. So 1 comma 4. There we go. So let's double check. 0, 1, 1, 4. I have 2 points, and I've grabbed. Okay. We have one more question on this set. Okay. Here we go. Y equals a times x minus x1 squared plus y1 My coefficient here, a, is -3, so I know it's going to open down. Okay, and I have x minus 1, so x minus x1, x1 is 1, and plus 1, plus y1, I know my y is 1, so my vertex is at 1, 1. And now I know I'm going to have some zeros here. So I think I'm going to find out where probably where one of the x-intercepts is. But maybe I could just put in 0. What happens if I just put in 0? I could just put in 0. 0 is an easy number. So 0, 0 minus 1 squared times -3 plus 1 is equal to -3 plus 1 is equal to -2. And that means that's my point. And this is, again, really steep down. And that's really steep down because it's a -3. So now I have this point here, 0, -2, and I'm good. Okay, I hope that works for you. This was graph quadratics in vertex form. We have one more video in this series on vertex form. So if you have any questions, get a hold of us at mrbowenglish.com. Mr. Bo English รับสอนนักเรียนตั้งแต่ป .3 ขึ้นไปทางอินเทอร์เน็ตในสไตล์ EP ครับผู้สนใจช่วยติดต่อครูแจงหรือไปเว็บไซต์ที่ www.mrbowenglish.com